Hello, everyone. We're back. Monday, the first week of March. The sun is not shining. The birds were not singing today. It was a little bit rainy. But, guys, March is finally here. In my opinion, the worst 2 months of the year are behind us. We're out of it. We don't have to deal with it anymore. The rainy, cold weather is here, but it'll go away shortly. First off, let's start off today's show with, hey, happy Tuesday. Will and Ralph. I'll let Ralph go first because we know how Will's weekend went. But, Ralph, how was your weekend?
It was good. I did a lot of relaxing. I played a lot of wiffle ball this weekend with some friends. Realized how old I am now because I'm sore is all get out right now because of that. So, yeah.
It's you mentioned and you said that it was. It's really weird. Like I don't know how to explain the fact that you were just like, hey, I'm really sore, and I'm only 23 years old.
Yeah.
Will, you did not play wiffle ball, but you probably were sore too from work. Was work grueling for you, or how was it this past weekend?
Not too bad. Wasn't too busy. I got to get off early on Sunday and play a little bit of golf. Got to get 9 holes in. So always a good weekend when you can end it off.
Did you
with
get
some
sunburn
golf.
again?
No, I did not.
Sunburn was that on the show that we talked about that, or was that just Thursday on the show? Will was as red as the.
Yes.
You can't see it on my screen, but it says live in the top left. That's how red he was. If you're watching from home, so listen, we appreciate you tuning in. We're excited for you to be watching today. If you have not already, there's a couple things we need you to do. First off, I'm going to throw this down here. Read the bottom line. It gives you almost everything you can do. But we're going to need you to subscribe on YouTube if you're watching. Like the video. You can share it on Facebook and Twitter with retweeting it. But the big thing, if you want to know when we're live, we tell you, but if you forget, you want to get that notification on your phone, hit that little bell. You can do it on YouTube. You can do that on Facebook. And you can also set live alerts on Twitter as well. So we appreciate everyone tuning in, talking a little bit about some sports because we have some great conversation. We're going to have a special guest come on later on in the show that we're excited for him to be talking about. But let's get our first comment in here. Palmer Toms. Bryce, how was your weekend? It was rude of Ralph and Will not to ask. Palmer, it was fantastic. We appreciate you for caring about me. I appreciate that. It was a great weekend. Got to call some softball, some college softball. Anytime you get to have beautiful weather, and it was beautiful weather. I know Palmer enjoyed some beautiful weather over in Athens as well.
No triple play this weekend, though, was there, Bryce?
No triple play. So I didn't get to go viral this weekend. I got spoiled. That first weekend. That first weekend in Atlanta was pretty fun. So, Palmer, we appreciate you watching. Make sure to join us. Maybe on Thursday we have to bring Palmer back to talk about some more Georgia basketball after what happened. I shot Palmer a text, and I was like, Palmer, what is going on in Athens? And he said, I don't know. That's all I can say. And then maybe some of the things that I can't repeat what he said here on the live show. But anyways, Palmer, we appreciate you tuning in. We're going to talk a little bit about some baseball because spring training games started. Oh, man. Oh, no. Spring training games started. And Jake Lamb had an RBI single, so he's going to win MVP.
I've got a great shirt that encompasses that segment when we get there. I'll show it off when we get there.
Oh, yes, we'll get there. We're going to talk a little bit of baseball. We're going to talk about some Braves news that happened last week after our show that we'll talk about and kind of dive in a little bit. And then we're going to talk the big move in the NFL and maybe some other free agency names. There were some more names that I was watching today, some of the big networks, and they were talking about, but obviously J.J. Watt. And then, like I said, we're going to have a local guy who made it away as his way up to Atlanta, and now he's come back down to the area and looking to give back to the community, and he's going to be on talking with us a little bit later on. So, Jacket fans, you'll want to tune in from about 7:45 to 8 o'clock and then switch over to ESPN where Georgia Tech is playing a big-time matchup against Duke tonight to see, hey, how – and I got to plug the Jackets every single time I'm on here. But they're going to be playing Duke tonight in a big game for bubble to get a little bubble-licious.
Who is worse, Bryce plugging Georgia Tech or me plugging Auburn?
I would
I
say
mean,
Ralph
I've
plugging
made-
Troy.
Look, hey, we
Ralph's
made
the
it
worst.
5 minutes. We've made it 5 minutes. I haven't said anything about Auburn. And there's a
Yeah.
big game going on for Auburn right now.
About an hour ago, we were sitting in Barbaritos, and as we get up to leave, Ralph goes, "Hey, Troy softball's ranked," and we're like, "All right,
No.
see you later."
Sorry, getting votes.
Getting votes. They got
So
the
not
little
even ranked.
They got the little RV next to them, receiving votes
Yes.
on
Hey,
their line.
Ralph, does Troy have a freshman pitcher that's already thrown 2 no-hitters in her first 3 career starts?
No, they have played some of the best teams in the country already.
But Auburn does.
Troy's
Maddie Pinta threw another no-hitter. That is incredible. True freshman softball player from where's she from? I think she's from Maryland. First 2 starts, 2 of her first 3 starts, I think, at Auburn are no-hitters. We talked about pitchers at dinner getting hot starts.
Mhm.
It's going to be hard to live up to that. We talked about Kumar Rocker, about how good he was last year, and he's not really getting a whole lot of love from MLB scouts because they don't know how much better he can be.
And we were talking about Will, it's because he literally was dominant his freshman year.
Yeah.
And he started off so well. So we're going to have a great show today. We got another comment in here. Patsy Larry, go AU. Hey, you guys started off. Will didn't even have to say it. So Will didn't even have to say it.
You, Will. I got something for Will.
Go ahead, Ralph.
What's up?
Troy's starting pitcher is third in the country in strikeouts.
Dude, what'd you say?
She is third in the country in strikeouts. I hope he does not leave the video. We can't bring him back somehow.
That's good. Yeah, if Bryce left, it's just going to be the 2 of us for a little while.
This will be fun.
Now
I guess we'll talk about.
Okay, good. He's back. It was about to get ugly.
Our viewership went down by 5. Our viewership went down by 5.
Good.
Our viewership went down by 5
surprised.
when I just got off.
So Tech fans.
There we go. But listen, we're going to get in. We're going to get into some great conversation tonight. We're going to lead it off with a question that I called Ralph on my way over to the Magic City on Friday, and I said, "Ralph, I'm going to try the sandwich, and we're going to see how it rolls, and I want to give my thoughts on it." But before we get to that, we need to let you know, Mailbag Monday, every single Monday except for this past one because I forgot. We will send in your questions. We had some great questions. We're going to put them in next week, but we're excited. A little bit of a yawn there. Hey, if you also haven't want to plug this as well, check out the podcast. I got a couple with these 2 knuckleheads beside me, but recently we've been having some great guests on, and it's been a ton of fun. A great one for Braves fans this past Sunday. I know Will doesn't listen to it, but Ralph listened to it the other day, and it was a great one. So tune in with that as well. That's okay. I will also say this: the internet.
Come on, man.
The internet is a little bit delayed already today, so I can tell that it is because I'm saying things, and then about 5 seconds later, you're reacting to it. So that's completely fine. Go Nomad Internet. We're going to talk today. We're going to lead off with our question of the day. We all love fast food, don't we? It's a crying shame. This is America. We love it. We like to indulge ourselves into the fast food delicacies. I want to get your guys' take. The best chicken sandwich. Now, what is the best chicken sandwich to you? Now, to me, it's a no-brainer. We can rank them if it makes it better. But I think, across the board, are we all good with Chick-fil-A saying the number 1 original chicken sandwich is the best chicken sandwich there is? Okay, so Chick-fil-A sandwich. My girlfriend's not watching.
Spicy sandwich is number 2, and then the Chick-fil-A spicy grilled sandwich is number 3, and then the Chick-fil-A grilled sandwich is number 4. That's all the rankings we need.
So we're gonna go 5 through 9, and just kidding. but we'll go. Chick-fil-A has the best chicken sandwiches assortment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now I'll say this: on Friday, I tried Zaxby's new chicken sandwich with the spicy Zax sauce. I texted Ralph and I was like, "Hey, Ralph, you got to go get it." And then as more I thought about it, it's okay. The spicy Zax sauce, if you like it, makes it better. But I'm going to have to say that it's tough. We got a comment in here. Jackson Gordy with the Wild Wing Cafe is his best chicken sandwich.
Comment, please.
But we appreciate you. We appreciate you doing that. Ralph, where would you rank? You got Chick-fil-A number 1. Give me your top. Let's just go top 3. Like, what is 2 and 3 for you?
2 and 3. Okay, so 2 for me, I would have to say, and this is a weird one, I guess, because no people don't really go there and get a chicken sandwich. It's Wendy's. If you've never got a Wendy's chicken sandwich, it's actually very good. Now,
it is.
The spicy chicken sandwiches, that's pretty good there. I would not say it's the best, obviously, but it's really good. And right behind it, Popeyes. The Popeyes spicy chicken sandwich.
Popeyes spicy chicken sandwich. We got a comment here. Thank you. We finally got her to get on. There we go. Chick-fil-A Duh, of course.
Duh.
Listen, Hillary could live off of peanut butter and jelly and Chick-fil-A sandwiches. That's about all she would eat. We had that conversation. That
Wait.
Honestly,
At the
that
same
kind of-
time?
no,
She
not at the
put
same time.
peanut butter and jelly on a Chick-fil-A sandwich?
Oh boy.
But this whole thing kind of started the question of the day, and I need to pull this down a little bit because that is the banner's getting in the way of my beautiful face. Chick-fil-A
It
is
just went down 5 viewers.
we just went down 5 viewers because of that. But I think, Hillary, the big thing is that you started this whole conversation off when we were talking about your love for peanut butter and jelly, and that's how we got started on our questions of the day. And now it's come full circle. We're going to keep doing them, but that's good as well. If you have a favorite chicken sandwich, please definitely put it down there below. Ralph, you went with, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Wendy's, and then I neglected to listen to what you said after that.
Popeyes. Sorry.
Popeyes. Because the spicy Popeyes sandwich with spicy mayo is slaps. Will, what are you thinking? What are you frequent, and where are you going to go if Chick-fil-A is closed on a Sunday? Let's give that. It's a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
You want a chicken sandwich, where are you going?
So let me preface by saying I have not had McDonald's or Zaxby's new sandwiches. So I'm going Popeyes number 2, and I'm actually going to go McDonald's, their Southern style chicken sandwich, because that's the last one that I had. I haven't had their new one. I don't even know what they call it. They kind of changed up the name, but I haven't had it. I don't know if it replaced the Southern style chicken sandwich, but and that Southern style chicken sandwich was good. I hope they didn't get rid of it.
I hope they didn't get rid of it, and I think the big thing, too, I'm just glad I'm not muted. That was the big thing. Just got to press the little button. The chicken sandwich, I'm going to roll with Wendy's number 2 because Ralph one time and I got a Wendy's chicken sandwich, and it's very good. We got another comment in here. Popeyes, if the day shift is working. I love it, Austin Bodley. I love it. Hey, if you got a comment, put it on there. Well, as long as it's as long as we're rolling, we got another comment in here. The night shift makes it soggy every single trip. No one likes a soggy chicken sandwich. So we appreciate the viewership as it continues to climb.
Yeah, Burger King chicken sandwiches tend to get a little soggy.
The long one, like the number 9, the original chicken sandwich.
Yes.
I used to like a piece of processed because I don't know. I used to get it all the time. Processed cheese on slap it on that thing. It's not bad. Not
Cheese?
bad.
I don't think I've ever eaten it with cheese.
Hey, I have an honorable
Cheese?
mention though for mine though. Is the
Oh, okay.
Zaxby's-
Honorable mention.
Yeah, Zaxby's kicking chicken sandwich.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
I
A little
kinda forgot
messy.
about that. See, I forgot about it because it's chicken strips, but
Well,
it still counts.
right. So Bryce says it's a little messy, but you got to understand, Bryce is like a 4-year-old when it comes to eating food. Like, we got up from dinner tonight. My spot was spotless. Ralph's spot was spotless. Ralph's spot was spotless. Bryce had all kinds of like sauce left
He's
on the
playing with
table.
salsa tonight.
Yeah, he just
Can I I got comments, guys. I'm trying to do my job here. Palmer Tom's Bojangles chicken biscuit. That does quantify as a chicken sandwich.
Ooh.
Palmer, if you give me the Cajun
Cajun.
filet, then I'm rolling with it. Shout out to the Learys who sat and just railed on some Bojangles the other night when I was at their house, talking about how it was pretty much trash, and so I'm glad that it wasn't there. Rob Bearfield, we appreciate you, Mr. Referee himself. Hattie B's chicken sandwich. I am going to have one next Wednesday in Birmingham. I'm pumped about it. I stopped by, but unfortunately couldn't make it. They got a good. That Nashville hot chicken is something you got to try, and then we're back to Jackson, Gordy.
Please stop.
Waffle House has a good chicken sandwich if you ask for it. Yes, Easy Bake Oven also makes good chicken sandwiches, I heard. So we appreciate all the listen, this is fun. I love the questions, love the comments. This is a show for you. And let's get the viewership. Let's get the viewership counts going down starting now because we're actually going to talk about sports. So let's talk a little bit about the Braves. We're going to talk Braves spring update. They played on Sunday. Not time yet. Not time yet. Calm down.
No.
Only if the group chat is here. You look and see what spring
Russell
training
in the
is.
chat. Russell can confirm if the group chat's here.
Yes, yeah, Russell, Mr. Intern Russell, if he is in the chat. But I wanted to, and shout out to Columbus State for this past weekend. Anyways, but Brave spring update. Spring training just started. First game was on Sunday. They lose 9-7. Who cares? If you can get a win, you want to get a win. If you can get a win, you want to get a win. But all I wanted to know, guys, so hold off on this conversation because I kind of think we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about. But just from an update standpoint, the Braves played today. They did win over the Twins. Huascar Ynoa looked very good in relief or as a starter. They said they were going to try to stretch him out to see what he could do. A guy with 100 miles plus 100 miles per hour plus fastball. To think that I'm trying to talk for a living and I just can't even say that is ridiculous. But you got him. He's got a great off-speed mix. He looks good. And I think Ian Anderson pitched today. Kyle Wright's fine. But, guys, it is the first week of spring. The Red Sox pulled their defense off of the field and said, we're just going to go to the next inning after Williams Contreras hit a single. Guys, this doesn't matter. The Braves
had the bases loaded.
Yes, it doesn't matter what is going on in spring training. If Freddie Freeman goes out there and goes 1 for 25, but he says, Snit, I feel great, and we're going to talk a little bit about Snicker here in a second, then I'm okay with that. I know we talked about this, Ralph. You and I talked about this for like 30 minutes on my drive back because I have severe anxiety. Severe separation anxiety. I can't be away from anybody. I have to talk on the phone, and so when Hillary doesn't pick up, I have to call Ralph. So that's kind of how it goes. And then because Will's usually working,
that means I'm at least number 3.
Well, you're working, and usually I can only talk to people on the weekends. And Ralph also knows I don't love chat. If you call me, I'm not going to talk to you, but if I call you, you better expect that I need to talk to you. But anyways, Ralph, we talked about this, and I want you to say, because I want you to get your Instagram moment, so button your tie, get you ready to go. Talk to me about what we said.
Oh, crap.
Because it's just, oh, gosh, he cut himself. He's cut his camera off. We just had to take a quick time out because Ralph decided just to mess that up. I apologize. We lost a viewer because of that, Ralph. Good job. Anyways, Ralph, take me back to our conversation yesterday. Why does spring training not matter, and who does it matter for?
Well, honestly, if you watch spring training and you watch it closely, obviously you'll have your ups and downs and your thoughts of what matters and what doesn't matter. If you're on the Braves Facebook pages and Braves Twitter and you're saying, wow, I can't believe we lost the first game of spring training, you don't understand what spring training means. It doesn't matter for Freddie. Freddie doesn't matter during spring training. He's going to do what he does best every year. He was MVP this past year. He didn't just drop off become the worst player in baseball. Acuna, same way. I mean, some of these guys they're not going to play but maybe a few games just because you have these younger guys who you don't know about. This spring training is for people that you don't know about yet. Trey Harris, Justin Dean, especially, and one was a big thing to me was Kyle Wright the other day. Kyle Wright pitched game 1. Everyone's wondering why Kyle Wright threw game 1. Why was Max Fried, Ian Anderson not pitching? Well, Kyle Wright has 12 appearances in his entire career. 6 of them came this past year during COVID. So you're telling me that you think this kid is not progressing well enough. He's 23. He's had one full year of minor league baseball in AA or in AAA. He had a whole satellite season this past year, pitched in the playoffs in 3 appearances or 2 appearances, something like that. I mean, the dude is 23 years old. He's progressing very well for him. He's getting better every year. Him throwing game 1, throwing 3 to 4 innings is not a big deal. It's for people who we want to see get better in the future. We know what Freddie, Acuna, Albies, Dansby, all those guys, we know what they can do. But Bryce Ball, Austin Riley, Williams Contreras, Alex Jackson, guys like that, we don't know what they can do yet because they hadn't had a full season yet. This will be Austin Riley's first full season of his career. So for those guys to get chances to show what they can do during spring training is the reason why we have spring training. It's not to see what Trevor Bauer can do for the Dodgers. I saw something today. Trevor Bauer has 2 strikeouts. Does it matter? No. I mean, Tukey has 4. Does that matter? Does it mean he's better? No. It means that Tukey's going to get more chances to pitch in spring training than Trevor is because Trevor's an all-star. He won a Cy Young. He's the best pitcher in baseball apparently because of his money he got paid. But, that's spring training for you.
It's spring training for you, Ralph. You might have got an Instagram moment out of that where I hope I can piece something together and we'll see. But no, in all seriousness, Ralph, you hit the nail right on the head. This is not for Freddie Freeman, Marcell Ozuna, Ronald Acuna. And I'll tell you, and I'll warn you this, on the flip side, and I won't even use this example. If Jason Kipnis comes out and bats 700, he's not starting at second base. Okay?
Who cares?
So who cares? I mean,
he's like 85 years old.
Yes.
He's out there with a walker.
So, Will, on the flip side, how ridiculous is it? And obviously, I don't know if you listen to the podcast, but Kevin McAlpin said it on the podcast that we released on Sunday. Don't put a lot of stock into this. This is for the guys like Ralph said, Justin Dean, Trey Harris, Bryce Ball, to impress the front office and that coaching staff that says, hey, because what happens if somebody gets hurt and Snicker goes, well, so-and-so looked really good. And you know who fit a perfect example? That was Tyler Matzik last year. Had a fantastic spring before everything happened, and it came in and played great in the summer. And I guarantee you, they said when they came down to the roster crunch, they said, we need a lefty out of the pen or we need a bullpen arm. And they said, well, this is impressed. They're not going to send Freddie Freeman to AAA. And Will, so how ridiculous is that the first lineup is posted and people are just irate of what's happening?
Who cares? Who cares? If you're caring this much about Braves baseball, you need a hobby, because most people don't care that much about their hobby. You can try to tell me Braves baseball is your hobby, but it sounds like it's your life. Who cares? Who cares if Jason Kipnis hits 700? Who cares if Pablo Sandoval hits 15 home runs?
Who cares if he hits 30 home runs in 30 games?
And, who cares? Well, I don't know. He might start at third base over Austin Riley if he hits 30 home runs.
Yeah, if he hits 30 home runs,
he might. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's for the younger players. It's for the players with something to prove. It's players that the coaching staff doesn't know a lot of. I would hope the front office knows a lot about every player, but it's for the major league coaches. And it's all about first impressions, and that's what spring training is. I mean, I don't know how many years. It's like every year an all-star bats 100 in spring training, then comes out and bats 400 in April. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's a month of games. Doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't care that Jake Lamb got a spring training start at first base. He's not going to be playing first base, but maybe 5 or 6 times all season.
And two, it's just take a deep breath. We all love baseball. We're all glad that it's back. But what drives me crazy is there's people out there that think they want to make a decision that they know better than the scouts, the front office, the general manager, the president, the manager, the coaching staff. These people who are literally paid to do this, they think they know better. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that as well.
Spring training, the games don't count. But like, say Freddie Freeman shows up to the park and he's supposed to start and he gets scratched because he walks into Snit's office and says, Snit, I didn't sleep well last night. I woke up with a crick in my neck. He's going to take him out of the lineup. It's spring training. It doesn't matter. During the season, he's probably going to play through that, or he's going to take some ibuprofen and tough it out. But he's not going to play in a spring training game for that. I mean, you've heard stories. I think Chipper Jones, probably not too long ago, it may have been in his book. When he started a spring training game, he'd get his 2 at-bats, his 4 innings in the field, whatever. He'd come out and he would leave the park and go to the golf course. He wouldn't even hang around for the rest of the game. It's a tune-up. And so these guys can try to get timed up to 95-mile-an-hour fastballs in, a 30-day time so they can be ready for the season.
And I said it. Freddie Freeman's going to come in. He's going to get about 25 at-bats, and it's going to be about March the 14th. And he's going to say, Snit, I'm ready. I'm good. Let's roll. Spring training's way too long, and we've talked about players, and I don't know if you guys listen to this podcast. It's a great podcast. It's actually funny. Our friends over at Knock On Nation, their last episode, they did a rating of all the let's get a rating. We got of all these things, and I think what's big and what's interesting is you look and see, and Eric O'Flaherty, who's on the 7055 is Real podcast with David O'Brien, the Athletic, fantastic. They had Peter Moylan on the latest episode. Really encourage you to go listen to it for Braves fans. And Eric O'Flaherty said it's just take a break, like take a breather. Like even these guys, even the pitchers are like, let's go. Like I'm ready to see someone else and make it count. And but like Ralph said, you hit the nail on the head. It's for guys that are wearing jerseys number 84 with no name on the back to prove their worth. And let's talk about guys that used to call them, and unfortunately we don't have them this year because AA and below is actually not at spring training right now. But fence hoppers, guys that would be in minor league camp and literally hop the fence for a day and come over and play, and that was their chance to shine. Everyone else just to run out there. Let's get some comments in here. Richard Leary, I like the bigger headphones. It makes it look more official. Love it, love it, love it. Leslie Leary is stepping on toes. Let's get Camargo out of there. Terrible. It's okay. That's all right. That's fine. That's fine. As Will does not love that opinion, and that's completely okay.
That's
my
dad's comment. I got 100% sure.
Do not disrespect the Panamanian Prince, the face of the Atlanta Braves, Johan Camargo. Don't do it.
We're gonna talk a little bit.
Riley proves that he can't hit a slider. Who's going to be playing third base? It's going to be Johan Camargo.
Oh, it will be. It will be. You better believe that it will be. Let's get the next topic of conversation in here because we're kind of running up against a time with the next programming that we have behind us on this channel. The Braves are going to be extending Brian Snicker. We learned about that. He had gone on this interim basis back in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. And then from then on out, 2017, he had a decent record with a very bad team. And then 2018, NL East, 2019 NL East title, 2020 NL East title. So I want to set the stage.
NLCS
I'm going to give it to Will. NLCS appearance, 1-2 playoff series, 1 win away from the World Series, and all being realistic, they challenged the World Series champs the most out of anybody. I mean, the Rays were great. Rays had a fantastic season.
Had a 3-1 lead.
Had a 3-1 lead.
So got hurt in the World Series.
I want to set the scene, and Will, I want you to take it away. I want you to bring out your pedestal, and I want you to get on it, and I'm going to give you an Instagram moment. The Braves extended Brian Snicker, and there are certain people that have come out and said, wow, really? So I guess liking your manager and liking playing for them actually matters? Yeah, it does matter. Don't know if you realize, but these guys won 3 straight National League East titles where 1 win went from the World Series. Oh, and by the way, their oldest player is what? Position player is like Freddie Freeman, and he's just won the MVP. Like you got Travis d'Arnaud, but he won a Silver Slugger. Like you have these guys that they're in the prime of they're not even reached the prime of their careers. Your core roster prime. So Will, how ludicrous is it that people are just like Brian Snicker? I mean, just put down the Capri Sun, get out of your mom's basement, and enjoy life.
If you don't think Brian Snicker is a good manager, then I argue that you don't understand baseball. You don't understand people. You don't understand how to lead people. That's all a baseball manager is, because all the data's there. There's no secrets anymore. Everybody knows. I mean, you see it on Twitter. Oh, why is Brian Snicker bringing in this guy? He's got a 5 ERA. Well, because left-handers are batting 180 against him. That's why he's in the game. The data's there. It supports the managers. You're not a manager anymore for how smart you are and how well you know baseball. You're a manager now for how you manage your players, how you manage the egos on the team. You look at the Braves, they don't look like they have a ton of egos, but I think that's because they have great leadership with Freddie Freeman and Brian Snicker as well, because Snicker coached all these guys coming through the minor leagues. It's about how you manage the people, because the data is going to tell you what you should do, and I think most of the time Brian Snicker follows the data, but it's not the end-all be-all, and that's a totally different argument that we have all the time. But Brian Snicker understands baseball players. He understands his players on the Braves. He loves them. You see it the last 3 years winning the NL East. He's on the field on the verge of tears because of how much he loves his team, and they love him right back, and that's why he's the best manager in the National League. I said it. He's the best manager in the National League.
I mean, you take a team, you win 3 straight titles in which every year the numbers, the sabermetric people have said that you should maybe win 85 games. I mean, and I'm telling you, it matters. You cannot – sabermetrics are fantastic, and I've said this, and it's a great thing to have to know these things, but you can't take the human element out. You have to have a balance, and I think that's what's so important. Will, we've talked about it. You have to have a balance with this, because – the ability to manage 25 personalities. And I'll say this, Braves fans, you think you get mad when Bryce Harper bat flips. Phillies fans feel the same way about Ronald Acuna. Ronald Acuna is the same person, okay? So you're managing Marcell Ozuna. I heard this the other day, and I want to float this out here because it goes in the conversation. Let's stay on track with the conversation, because Snicker does a fantastic job of managing 25 to 26 personalities. That's a hard thing to do. Marcell Ozuna, and this is kind of crazy. It was on ESPN they were talking about, or it was on Fox actually. Or MLB Network. I apologize. They were talking about this, and Marcell Ozuna to Atlanta has the impact and the aura of a Big Papi to the Red Sox. That lovable character, the guy who's going to have fun. He eases all the tension. Even last year, the selfie thing. I mean, for me, it eased the tension of. Think about this, guys. The last time these guys in the playoffs, they allowed 10 runs on them in the first inning. For those young kids, that's all they know. To have a guy sitting there hitting a home run.
Ozuna's whole team.
Yeah. To have a guy that comes in there and eases the pressure, eases the tension. That's a help for Brian Snicker. But just to open the floor, I'll go to you, Ralph. I mean, he's got to manage 25 different personalities. He's done a heck of a job.
Oh, I mean, definitely. You look at the Braves' success in the past, 3 years. I mean, when he took over in 2017, the team just looked like it changed a little bit. They went from being kind of down, as being one of the worst teams in the National League, to kind of finish on a strong note. They had Ozzie. Ozzie came in and was able to finish out the season with the Braves. He, showed what he could do early on. And, started 2018. We had, Acuna come in and, his personality is a little more, he's got a bigger personality. He likes to showboat a little more, which is fine. It's baseball these days. If you hate it, sorry, get over it. It's what happens. My favorite thing today, and I love it, is when Acuna hit a ball right field, line drive, looked like a home run, hit off the wall, did not run it out, made a single, easily could have been a double for him against the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Snicker took him out of the game, and people were raging about it. I mean, people were angry as all get out. Why'd you do it? That's so dumb. He's the worst. Later on in the game, the guy he replaced him with was Rafael Ortega, who had a grand slam in the game to help the Braves beat the Dodgers that game. He took him out of the game because he didn't run out a fly ball. That is the best manager in baseball, if you ask me.
Well, and two, it shows you're not afraid to discipline those players. Braves know that, and I mean, Freddie Freeman gets some leeway, but Ronald Acuna, you're one of the brightest young stars in the game. To me, you're one of the top 3 young stars. Ralph and I said it. Top 3 young players in the National League, in my opinion, position-wise, are a guy in the West and 2 guys in the East. Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Ronald Acuna. 3 young guys. We don't really know how old Juan Soto is. I know, Will,
he's like 30.
He's like 30. But these are 3 of the most exciting young players, and that shows that you're not above that. And I'll tell you this, those guys respect that. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you, they respect that because they know their manager loves them. And when it's August, it's the dog days, you're in a pennant race. Those things matter just a little bit more when you know what, this team, we love each other, that we love playing for this guy, this manager. And then, like you said, Will, you combat the fact and you add the fact on that they win. And this is a guy he's a Braves guy. Like, I mean, he's been with the organization for 40 plus years. It means so much to him having come as a player. I know we all saw the picture circulating of him with the mustache with the Durham Bulls when they were the Braves affiliate. Bring it back. But
should come back.
But Will, how much do we need to keep this human element in, and how much can it help during a postseason and just dog days? You got to win 3 out of 4, and you just have the love of the game. You still energized because the team is close. And if they'd have got rid of Brian Snicker, I'm guaranteeing you, I'm not saying this team would be bad. It just really wouldn't be the same.
No, it wouldn't be the same. We talk about it all the time. Baseball's romantic. I'm not a math guy, so numbers are not romantic to me at all. And I think most baseball players are not math guys either, so the numbers aren't romantic. It's hard to be romantic without the human element, right? So, we've harped on it enough. Brian Snicker is the best manager in baseball. I'm with you. I think if they changed managers and if it wasn't somebody that was already close to the players on the team, it would change everything. It would change it, and the Braves would probably play closer to their projections. And we see it with other teams, man. They do okay. Like, look at the Dodgers. They were pretty good when Don Mattingly was their manager. Didn't get them to the World Series enough. Didn't win the World Series, obviously. They ship out Mattingly. They put Dave Roberts in the manager's chair, and they're in the World Series nearly every year. So a manager changes everything, and he has a much bigger impact than people realize.
He has a much bigger impact, and I think it's very, very interesting. I got a comment here because this is a good friend of mine who is actually up from north. He goes, I know just about baseball. He goes, I know nothing about the Braves, honestly. But all I know is that Gary Sanchez can't catch a thrown ball, but they're going to run him out of New York if he doesn't hit 290 with 30 home runs. Love it, Joe. I love it, Joe. Listen, we're going to go to commercial. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL, J.J. Watt signing, and then we got a fun guest coming on to talk a little bit later. And, guys, we may wrap up the segment with someone that Ralph hasn't been on with, but we had a little late night with BK. He came on with Will and I, and Will had never been on with him. And I don't know if Will knows what I'm talking about, but it's going to be a ton of fun. He's going to talk a little bit about what baseball means and how you get butts in the seats when we come back. But it's going to be a ton of fun when we come back. We're going to play this commercial. Check out Cook's Place.
Cook's Place began serving our signature hot dogs in 1985 from a cart on Broadway. We still serve the best hot dogs and scrambled dogs in town at the corner of Moon and Miller Road and at the Landings. Our friendly staff won't let you leave hungry. Come in and eat to the beat with our 50s jukebox. Cook's Place. Fast service, great people, awesome food. What are you waiting for?
Are back here, a little bit of Crowded Booth Live on a Tuesday night. We got some special guests coming on. It's going to be a ton of fun. But first, guys, the big news coming out of the NFL this past weekend, another move that we're going to talk about and kind of parlays into a little bit of this. We got a guest coming on. He's going to be on at 8. So we'll stay tuned just a tad bit after 8 o'clock, you fans, and we'll have this one on for you. J.J. Watt heads to Arizona. He's going to go to the Cardinals on a 2-year, $31 million deal. Will, you said, gosh, he's like 34. Then you said, oh man, he's only 31. Yeah. I want to set the stage because too often, and I'll say this, too often, I get to do the podcast on Sundays, but too often I just ask you guys questions. And so I want to say a little bit how I feel about it. I think with JJ Watt,
don't make that face.
I think a lot with JJ Watt is, and what's interesting is because you feel like he's older because he's been in the league so long. Is he still the all-pro guy? Maybe. The biggest question mark for me is, can he play the full 16? If he can't, and I want to say this because Ralph and I talked about this yesterday. Ralph and I talk on the phone a lot because I get lonely, but that's fine. But Ralph and I talked a little bit about this yesterday. The signing of J.J. Watt makes complete sense. And if you're saying, I don't understand this, if you're just going on Twitter and you're saying, I don't understand this, first off, no one really cares. No one, I mean, I checked.
Do some research.
You're not in the Cardinals front office.
Do some research. Use the Google machine.
Do some research. He's 31. Listen, even he's had 25 sacks over the past 3 seasons, and that includes some injuries. So that's still productive. If you're a Falcons fan, you're like, holy cow, yeah, that's pretty productive. We haven't gotten anything out of our defensive end. Dante Fowler we signed, and Tack McKinley just said, I don't want to play for you anymore, kind of thing. And so I think when you look and you see what J.J. Watt brings to a team, you don't have to worry about the character if he's going to try or give effort. We all three of us can sit here and say, even if he's having a bad season, he's going to go out there and get 100%. He's not this type of person that's going to mope or be down. So I think it's a great move for Arizona. I think that 2 years, $31 million, obviously that's a ton of money to us. But for a guy who is no longer going to have to be the focal point, y'all, outside of Jadeveon Clowney, which dare I say wasn't a bust as the number 1 pick, but never really lived up to the hype and billing in the NFL that we knew him after that massive hit at Michigan. Fantastic player, but I think we thought he was going to be like a Myles Garrett style player, transcendent. I don't think he was fantastic as Will continues to move backwards. Will, do you think that Jadeveon Clowney was worth the number 1 pick?
Absolutely.
I mean, he's fantastic. He's a great player, but It never turned into this like fearsome thing where I think it can be. I think the situation in Arizona could be better.
Yeah, I think it would be better because J.J. Watt is a better player than Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney's definitely his best years were in Houston on the opposite side of J.J. Watt. He goes to Seattle. Teams are game planning to stop him and him alone, and the other Tennessee, same thing. They don't have an elite guy to complement him, and he can play off of that. I mean, but yeah, Clowney, yeah, number 1 pick. No doubt. He was very good for Houston.
Yeah, he was good. He was good for Houston. But what you just said plays into my next statement is when he left, okay, you know who's going to benefit from this? Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones is really going to benefit from this Arizona. And no longer at 31 is J.J. Watt going to be tasked with saving the whole defense because Clowney wasn't in Houston. Houston's defense was a little down with some injuries. So I think when you look at what J.J. Watt brings, he's not going to have to go out there and put up 15 to 20 sacks or be expected to carry the brunt of a young, upcoming Arizona defense. Budda Baker, really like him out of the secondary. We talked about him, Ralph. But when you get a look at this, and Will, I'll come back to you first on this, do you like the move for Arizona? I don't know if they're one piece away. They maybe should add some pieces, but how is it a bad move? Like, you're not signing a guy that's a low character guy. Like, with all due respect, you're not signing Antonio Brown, who Antonio Brown could play amazing, or he could just be out. Like, you have no idea what he's going to be like. You know what you're going to get out of J.J. Watt. You're going to get production. And I'll tell you one thing, if he's in some one-on-one matchups with a tackle, he's going to maybe put up double-digit sacks.
Yeah, I've kind of gone back and forth because I was thinking, do they really need J.J. Watt? Can J.J. Watt stay healthy? That was the big one for me. Can he stay healthy? Because he's not going to be your all-pro defensive player of the year, I don't think, again. Now, I mean, he might go out there and prove me wrong, of course, but but he's going to complement Chandler Jones very well. I saw a stat from Pro Football Focus. I think since 2017, the top 2 pass rushers in the league with quarterback hurries are Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt. So you've got 2 elite pass rushers on the same defense. And I think J.J. Watt is going to put that Arizona defense, to the next level. They've got Budda Baker playing Isaiah Simmons. They've got playmakers. They've got playmakers on that defense, and now they get that extra pass rusher. So teams got a game plan for 2 elite pass rushers. So I think it's a really, really good move for Arizona. Like you said, the money is not crazy for a guy of his caliber or his age at only 31 years old. So I think this will help Arizona get into the playoffs. They play in a very tough division. They were 1 game from making it this past year. Watt might be the difference and get them in the playoffs.
I want to go to this comment here. Palmer Toms brings into challenge Will a little bit. Redrafting, he wouldn't go number 1. He probably wouldn't because Aaron Donald was in that draft. That's the only thing. They're probably going to take Aaron Donald over that. And also Khalil Mack was in that draft. So people may take Khalil Mack, a loaded defensive draft. And his next comment was actually he may not go 3. And I'd love to see, because I'm trying to look real quick and see who went other than that. And there's some, obviously it would depend on what your needs are.
That was a loaded wide receiver draft, I'm pretty sure.
Mike Evans was the first receiver taken that year. Eric Ebron, tight end, was taken. But there's some, Justin Gilbert, cornerback, was taken that year, a very good player. So, J.J. Watt to Arizona, I think it's a good thing. Ralph, I said this to you, if he stays healthy, if he doesn't stay healthy, to me, you can't consider somebody a bust because they didn't stay healthy. That's out of their control. Like Greg Oden was not bad, or he's not trash because he was hurt. It's unfortunate. So if J.J. Watt goes there and he blows his ACL out tomorrow, God forbid that happens. Yeah. It's not a bust of a sign. It's just unfortunate. Yeah. Now, if he goes there and he looks like he's an old, decrepit man, then that's not going to be good. But for you kind of felt the same thing. You're just adding experience to a young defense that's trying to take that next step and being one of the elite.
So while Will was talking and I was listening, one thing about the Cardinals that we forget is how great this defense actually is. So you add J.J. Watt, who's had been in the league for 10 years. You have Jordan Phillips on the defensive end. You have Angelo Blackson from Auburn, who's on defensive end. Zach Allen from Boston College. You have Rashard Lawrence on defensive tackle, and you have Corey Peters on defensive tackle. You have a loaded front 7 right there, not including they have Jordan Hicks, Devondre Campbell at linebacker. If anything, this makes this defense 10 times better by adding another veteran on the team. Especially, it's just hard to explain this one for me.
Yeah.
I mean, a great defensive line will not expose a defense. And I read this. Someone said this the other day. And it's just dumbfounded me, honestly. If anything, a defense can control what the offense has to do. If you have a defense that can make a quarterback scramble and has to throw on the run, your secondary is going to pick them apart all day. You have some great corners and safeties in Arizona. They're going to have fun all day having interceptions on teams. I mean, if anything, adding J.J. Watt to the Cardinals makes them a playoff team now. They're guaranteed to make a playoff. They
were a game or 2 away. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If you didn't watch that game, Kyler Murray got hurt in that game and came back and still threw another touchdown. Kyler Murray is a great quarterback. If you don't think he is, you obviously don't watch football. He threw for 4,000 yards back-to-back years. Terrible quarterbacks don't do that. So.
No, they don't do that, and you have a great quarterback. And I think, too, you talk about schematic. There's been a lot of questions of how schematically this would work. On the offensive end, is Cliff Kingsbury? Well, yeah, it is. They did a great job. Kyler Murray has thrown for 8,000 yards in 2 seasons. Will, when you look at what Arizona has as a whole, you add an experienced guy, and we've all said they need to get some more protection because we saw how Seattle has kind of not – and what's happening up there with Russell Wilson. They've done a terrible job protecting Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think for Kyler Murray to take that next step, they need to get that. But they added DeAndre Hopkins last year. Okay, so you have your focal point. You have, and Ralph, correct me if his name, Andy Isabella from UMass, a great slot receiver, your typical speedy guy in the slot. And you also have Christian Kirk, who is not a bad now doesn't have to feel the pressure to be a number 1 receiver because you have Nuke in there. Well, when you look and see what this Arizona team has, do they shape up to be a playoff team?
I think they do. I think Seattle is kind of losing their footing. I think that showed in the playoffs, losing to a shorthanded Rams team. So I think they take at least Seattle's spot. The Raiders, who knows what they're going to be? They're one of the strangest teams to be. On paper, they look like a playoff team, but they never live up to it. And we had this debate yesterday about their running back position, Kenyon Drake. I was in the minority. Not a big Kenyon Drake guy, but I think he fits their offense. He had a really good year. I think y'all told me he ran for over 900 yards a year ago. He's a good running back. He's good, but
he hurt me in fantasy. He hurt me in fantasy. I'll say that. But yes, he's a good
offensive line is without a doubt their biggest need. When
you have a quarterback who can run for 600 plus yards, you don't really need a great running back. You have someone who can complement him, and I think Kenyon Drake does it very well.
Right, he does. He does. Watch for Arizona in the draft. Yeah, I think they will be aggressive. I think they'll trade up to try to get a lineman. The way the draft is shaking up, it looks like we could have quite a few offensive linemen go off the board in the first round. Might have two in the top 10 even, Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater.
Gotcha.
But watch Arizona. I think they'll be a playoff team next year.
J.J. Watt, Kyler Murray, going to be a fun combination to watch. We do have a guest. He is the pride and joy of Hamilton, Georgia. We'll call him that. He used to invite me to go play pickup basketball at the church in the county, but I often declined because that entire church youth group was about made up of college and now NFL athletes. We have Mr. Quan Marshall on. Quan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Let's see.
Loud and clear.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Well, to Quan, we can hear you. If you can hear us, there may be a little bit of a delay. But first off, man, we just want to congratulate you on what you're kind of building here in this area. Talk to me about, this 7-on-7, what you're trying to create and what you're trying to do back for what is a very talented area here in the Chattahoochee Valley.
Yes, basically, the idea came a couple of weeks ago, and really want to create an opportunity for kids to gain exposure against better competition. Also, gain exposure for recruiting. So a lot of kids probably, get overlooked because of bigger schools, in the Atlanta area, or bigger schools south of us, or maybe a little bit north of us. So this will create an opportunity for kids to, gain that exposure and get in front of other great competition in the Atlanta area. And on top of that, just create a space, almost like a mentorship, because kids are more likely to listen to people closer to their age than they are to older adults. So I feel like, I can be that person that can be that mentor, and I know what it takes to get to the level they're trying to get to. So I'm really excited about starting that up, and I'm looking for kids in all areas around here. So if you're watching this or listening on, tryouts for this weekend. One's on Saturday from 10 to 12:30. Registration starts at 9, and then one's on Sunday at 1. Registration starts at 12. So that's kind of the route that I'm going with this. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's an exciting thing. Obviously, there's a ton of talent. You were texting me. You said, "Hey, do you know some guys?" And I was like, "Yeah." I threw you some names, and you'd already reached out to them. Ralph and I've talked about. There's some absolute. There's some guys that can straight up ball in this area. And like you said, with everything going on from a recruiting standpoint, with the dead period being extended, that's going to hurt a lot of kids. So getting to these camps, getting in front of, the new age of social media. And I'll ask you this because it kind of feeds into what you're doing. How much has recruiting changed even from when you were in high school? Like you graduated 2015. How much has it changed with just, especially during COVID, with you're having to put tape, you're having to comment under, position coaches that are saying, "Hey, I'm looking for 2022 guys." How much has it changed just from when you were in high school and you took that next step?
It's changing a lot. I feel like social media is more prevalent now than it was when I was in high school. Like we were on social media, but we weren't on it like we are now. I feel like a lot of kids get offers through social media. Like they might post a cool one-handed catch or them going up and mossing on somebody, and next thing you know, they have 5 offers from Power 5 schools. So I feel like back when we were playing, or back when I was in high school, like that, it wasn't really happening like that. You would have to go to a camp and really ball out, or you were at a high school that was really known for, that basically had a pipeline to certain schools. And if you had the right coach that was, putting your name out there the right way, then you were going to be completely fine. You were going to have all the offers. But, yeah, it's changed a lot. And like you said, nowadays, through social media and just having cameras around, that's what really everyone wants to see. Even at the highest level, like in the off season, you see a lot of professional guys posting a lot of videos of them training, doing a lot of workouts and stuff. Like whatever team they're on, their staff and their coaches, their their office people, they're looking at that. They have people that make sure they're staying on top of their things, and so that's what the game has really turned into, honestly.
Yeah, so you use the term "we," and then you quickly changed it to when I was in high school because none of us were at the level. So let's don't act like that we were getting recruited. Yeah, so I'm glad you changed that to I. Last thing before we let you go, man. Obviously, you talked about it. We've been sharing the little flyer that you made. We're going to continue to post that all throughout this week. I want to talk a little bit about where your alma mater now, Georgia Tech. Just how exciting is it to see kind of, you got kids that are saying, hey, top 10 that 5 years ago were not saying that. Just realistically, they were not putting this. How exciting to see where you went and kind of being put on a national stage like that.
It's awesome, man. I like the direction our program is going in. Of course, obviously, I want to see more wins, and I want to see them very quickly. But I know sometimes it's not how it works when you're trying to change the program and change the recruiting that you're getting. So that's kind of frustrating, the winning part. But of course, I think it's going to come in time. I'm excited to see what's going to happen this year with everything transitioning back to normal. Having all the fans there, the alumni get to come back and see what's going on, be around the program a little bit more. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. They brought in a lot of good recruits in this class. They're bringing in a lot of grad transfers and some transfers in the portal. So it's going to be good to see what they're going to do this season.
Sounds good, man. Well, listen, hey, one more time, tell us what time do the guys need to be there on this weekend and registration, and where do they need to be? Because I know about an hour ago, you had just confirmed the location.
Right, yeah. I just confirmed the location will be at Harris County High School for the tryouts. March 6th and 7th. On the 6th, the tryouts start at 10 a.m. Registration starts at 9 a.m. And on Sunday, tryouts start at 1 p.m. and registration starts at 12 p.m. this weekend at Harris County High School.
Awesome. Well, Taquan, we appreciate it, man. We're excited to see what you keep doing in this community. And if you're watching or listening, please make sure. I know we got a good guy, Andrew Caraway, up in the Troup County area that is really connected with Troup County, LaGrange, Callaway. And there's obviously some guys there that would be some key additions. You want some competition because you want to make it the best possible thing. So we appreciate you coming on, man, and best of luck to you this weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
That is Quan Marshall. Guys, I want to say this because he said we, and we all know it wasn't I. And I want to throw this on there because we're waiting about 2 minutes left for our guest. I want to throw it out here because Taquan and I played on the same Little League football team, okay? Now, I want to set the stage because this is the same Little League football team with and this at this time I was about 4'11", about 75 pounds, and Taquan was playing quarterback. We had Isaias Chapman, a dynamic running back that went to go play at Division II Ohio Dominican. Then we had this guy that was his name's Tay Crowder, who you may have heard of, plays for the Giants. Oh, and then sometimes we would go and practice and we would play the team above us, which had a guy named Jordan Jenkins. So a ton of fun to play football in Harris County. But guys, we talked about it, and Ralph, while we wait for our next guest to come on, that is going to be sure to provide some excitement, some energy into this show. Talk to me real quick because this is really big. And if you're watching, we've had some guys on, especially the Andrew Caraway up. This is a big time opportunity to not only, like Taquan said, offer some advice because he's been through that and recently too.
Yeah. If you don't know what he does, it's huge for especially an area like Columbus. Columbus has a lot of great talent. And a lot of talent goes unnoticed because we're not seeing a lot of people come down here and for recruiting, especially with COVID right now. A lot of coaches can't travel because for the dead period, for one. One guy, and I believe you told me he's already reached out to him, is Jordan Moultrie. If I was
and
right.
AJ Harris out in Glenwood.
AJ Harris has like 30 offers already.
Yeah. Like. But a guy like Jordan Moultrie would be perfect.
Yeah.
He needs to take that next step.
Jordan Moultrie, if you don't know who he is, he's going to be a running back at Central this year. He's a stud running back. He'll hit you in the mouth if you're not careful. He's going to get a lot of exposure this year playing for a very big Central Phoenix City team. So, but what he brings to the table is just it's different. You know, it's helpful for kids around here.
Gosh, I should have put it on you because I started laughing because, folks, this is the moment y'all been waiting for. We had Quan Marshall on. It was a ton of fun. We are going to bring on the pride and joy of Moultrie, Georgia, South Georgia's finest, the biggest dog fan south of the Nat line, and he's going to cheer on the Braves as well. He and I watched that 10-0 debacle, and we said, yep, we are going to Applebee's, boys, because this is getting bad. We're going to bring on Mr. Trink Rider himself.
What
Trent,
is up?
We got our segment. We end off the show here every single time, and I know you got the T-shirt, the incredible T-shirt. We need to get you a pullover because we got some new merch going on here.
Send me the link. I'll buy.
Yeah, we got to get a link. So I'll get you a link and we'll buy it.
We got to get a store first.
You talked on this on a separate show that made its one and only appearance last week called Late Nights with BK that will never air again, hopefully, to the light of day. But, Trent, I want to know, baseball's got a marketing problem. If little Timmy walks into not a bar because that's inappropriate, but little Timmy walks into his favorite candy store and they're signing autographs is LeBron James and Patrick Mahomes and Mike Trout. And he's like, oh, I know who those two are, but who's the white guy down at the end? He didn't know who Mike Trout is. How do we market baseball, and how do we get butts in the seats?
Look, here's the problem with this debate, because it's a good question. It's an important question that the MLB has got to address at some point. The problem is people go straight to, well, how do we match the intensity of other games? How do we just make baseball so fast-paced and so electric and just have stuff blowing up in these kids' faces to the point that they want to buy tickets? And that's not the trick. I think baseball was what it was for so many decades for a reason, and that is what it can continue to be. But they're going to have to reframe the sport, and you're going to have to do something to increase the relevance without changing what it is. I don't think having a timer on the pitcher is going to do it. I don't think any of the other weird rules or any other things have been proposed.
You are right up Will's alley right now.
Look, I think trying to speed the game up is not the problem. It's not the speed of the game. I think the problem that MLB is going to battle is a problem that's partially out of their control, in that because this kind of the last generation or two of fans has grown up in this era of TV and video games and very immediate action-packed things. How do you then take people who are wired to give me something exciting every few minutes? Even in football, you get it. You might not get a touchdown for a quarter, but you're probably going to get a 15-yard pass, or you're going to get the running back breaks 2 or 3 tackles and has a nice run for a first down. You still get something to get people fired up. And I think the problem for baseball is oftentimes you may go 1, 2, 3, 4 innings where the best you had was a base hit, if that. Sometimes you don't have that, and sometimes you're getting innings full of back-to-back homers. And so I think they're going to have to do something that does make it more exciting, more entertaining, and more relevant, but without really changing the pace of the game, because I don't know that it's the pace of the game. I think they've got to find some way to connect to the fans as they are, because you're not going to be able to unwire these fans, but you also can't change the game of baseball. If you change it too much, it's not baseball now. Now it's the home run derby every night. And at some point that takes away the value. The value in Mike Trout knocking one out into the river is the fact that doesn't happen every night. And so if you turn this thing into Jock Peterson and Mike Trout and Freddie Freeman just clearing stuff out into the Allegheny, we've just taken every bit of the value of the game away. Yeah, we know Freddie knocks out windshields on 285 on a regular basis, but if he does that every night and that's all it is, it's just different. So I think it's going to have to be fan education, connecting with the fans better. It's going to be more external than just the game itself to try to pull people in, because you've somehow got to make what it is exciting enough rather than trying to make it something different.
Yeah, we're talking about how to get butts in the seats. I think Will's a little disappointed because he wanted to hear your philosophy on dingers.
Look,
how do you feel about the home run?
That's the thing. And see, the reason you've got fans still sticking with us is because they know buying a ticket to a Braves game is not just buying a ticket to a Braves game. You've bought a lottery ticket, and sir, you might win in the 7th when Freddie's had enough and he just tees off on one, and some poor guy in a 2006 Honda Civic is heading down 285 and catches one in his passenger side window. And look, guy, we're sorry about the window, but that home run just got everybody in the greater Atlanta area a free set of tires for the next 2 days. So, we're gonna have to take give and take. It's a balance in baseball, and that's what it is. And you buy a ticket and you come along for the ride, and sometimes that ride is sending one out about 500 feet. Sometimes it's, hey, we had a couple base hits, we won by one. Other times it's, hey, let me get some 300-foot oppo field banger and let's have a good time out here. So you just don't know what you're going to get. That's what's fun about baseball. Grab bag. You never know what's going to happen.
It's a grab bag for sure. Trent, we may have to, much like Paul Feinbaum has his guest, we
Every
may
day at
have
4:30.
found every day at 4:30.
I get the ESPN notifications every day, Paul. Like at this point, if I don't know your show's on, Paul, I'm not checking my app. Apparently,
Well,
Look,
we
that's
listen.
what you should do. Send notifications to everybody every day at the same time, because Paul just blasts me.
Paul does a good job of marketing his products. That's what we need to get in touch with Mr. Paul. But Trent, any lasting thoughts? The Braves started spring training this week. You got to hear the velvet voice of Ben Ingram over our airwaves. Talk about what it felt like to have windows down in a 1983 Chevy pickup and listening to Ben Ingram just soothe your soul.
There is nothing more cathartic and healing in this world than the sound of Ben Ingram's voice cracking across a radio on a summer afternoon. And boys, we are months away from that being every day of our lives. If I could have Ben Ingram narrate every moment of my life, it would be worth every penny. Braves baseball is back. We had a good showing today. Was it today? I'm losing track of my days.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
6-0. Well, you are in med school. You have a lot more important things to do than we do.
I see things that way after they happen. But look, okay, we Braves are electric. Okay, I was a little afraid about the armband. It did on a sleeve. It came out yellow. I was a little worried. I thought we're just rocking blue this season. I need the neon yellow in my life. He brought it out for us. And so look, the Braves baseball is back. It's a good time to be alive. Look, just like it's a good time to be a wrestling fan, it's a dang good time to be a baseball fan. Okay,
Go plug it.
AEW Wednesday nights.
Now, you quickly, because the reason you came on the show, and I just thought about it, was because, hey, you messaged me. Who breaking news? Can I say? Am I allowed to say?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's public.
Okay. So it's public, so it's not breaking news. But breaking news for our crowd of booth viewers who may not be out of the wrestling attire. They don't go frequent that. But who are you going to be near tomorrow night, and who is going to be wrestling on AEW? Correct me, on Wednesday night live. Correct?
Yeah, so tomorrow night, Wednesday, live on TNT at 8 p.m., Shaquille O'Neal will be tag teaming with Jade Cargill against our own American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and Red Velvet. That's right, an intergender tag team match. Look, that's what's fun about wrestling. Maybe that's where baseball needs to go, because in wrestling so far this year, AEW's had Snoop Dogg on. We're having Shaq on Wednesday. It just gets crazy. You don't know who we're going to come out with every week. So look, Shaq's going to be on there. We know one thing about Shaq. He and his sons cannot make a free throw to save their lives, but can he wrestle? We don't know. We've seen him here on WWE before, or the other company. And we're excited to see what he does with AEW. This is a very highly anticipated match. It's been talked about on ESPN. Shaq has addressed it to his co-host. Look, we're excited to see what happens. I think that they're going to put up a heck of a match. I mean, he's a big body guy, obviously. A lot of size. Okay, biggest guy that we got right now walking in that ring, maybe besides Big Show. So there's a whole lot of men coming in there in the ring. We're excited to see what he does. As long as he's not asked to shoot a free throw, he should do a pretty good job.
Now, are you going to be thrown by him? Because you have been thrown around the ring. And people who are watching, this is Trink Rider, one of the, can I say medical assistants? Is that correct terminology?
Yeah, sure.
Medical assistants for AEW, so he cannot mention the other name because he pulls in a check from AEW. But I want to ask you, what is your craziest appearance you've had so far on live television?
Getting thrown by unfortunately has left us Brody Lee. He threw me. In fact, it was my TV debut. It was my first night working for AEW. He came up to me in the locker room and said, that things were going to get crazy tonight. And I was like, take it easy. Don't get too crazy. And of course, he got pretty brutal with Cody that night, so we had to come out there and take care of Cody. And when we did, Brody took exception to it, and he tossed myself and a few others like rag dolls while we tried to take care of Cody. we've had a lot of fun though. You never know what's going to happen. There's no telling what happens when we put Shaq in the ring. Anything could happen. I was nervous when Snoop Dogg got up on the top rope. So you don't know what's going to happen. But Brody Lee, all 6, 7 of him, 8 of him, tossed me like a frisbee. I mean, hurled me across the stage.
Like a frisbee on Dana course.
Oh, like a frisbee on Dana. Some kid, some Berry College student just sent it, full send. I mean, people told me later, said that looked pretty rough. Because it was. I legitimately, if it hadn't been for our head athletic trainer catching me, I would have gone straight off the stage. So you never know what's going to happen at all elite wrestling. We try to keep it exciting, keep it fun for the fans. And look, we're bringing you the best in pro wrestling every Wednesday night, live at 8 p.m. on TNT. You can catch Cody on the Go Big Show Thursday nights, 10 p.m. TNT. Plug our partners there, TBS.
There you go. There you
go. Anyway,
Turner Broadcasting.
Turner Broadcasting. The big Turner family, the Turner media family, as we like to call them. You can also catch a Sunday big pay-per-view, AEW Revolution. It's going to be a big thing. We're coming to you live from Jacksonville at Daly's Place.
The Dirty Duval.
The Duval. Okay, we are. Look, the Jacksonville Jaguars are all elite. Okay, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Our viewership has gone up with you on the show. I can see.
Where are we at now? Like at least 1,000, right?
At least 4,000. I think we've hit right now. So we're good right here. Trent, I want to just thank you for coming on, man. And at some point, we got to get you and your lovely counterpart, David, to come on and just talk about his experiences with Javi Lopez and a good majority of those early 2090s Braves. Look,
I tell you what, you get me on the next show. Let's put Ben Ingram on there. Let's get Chipper, and let's get a few people together. Let's just toss
David Justice, yeah.
I tell you what, we'll get on that little set. Looks like a small baseball field. We'll just toss a little bit and let me kind of share with Chipper some things that are on my mind. I can just tell Ben just to say some words. Let me hear that. So look, I'm down for whatever you got. Look, it's a busy week this week at All Elite Wrestling, but when we get past this and we keep moving, you let me know because would love to get on, chat it up with the boys. You never know. Maybe we can head out to old Truist Park and see if we can just. Man, now that Chipper's a batting coach, maybe we just we pop a few around. Maybe you can hit me a grounder.
Might hit you a grounder. Hey, like our good friend Jed Woodward, you say, hey, I just want to toss it around. Just throw the pearl. That's all I want to do. I just want to hurl the pearl a little bit.
It's all about touches. You need more touches. And I would love the Atlanta Braves give me the opportunity to get some more touches right there on the diamond because that's what it's about, guys. At the end of the day, this is just good old Sandlot. Turn my hat backwards, roll my jeans up, let Chipper just chop a few down to short and let me just turn two real quick. Freddie on the other end, hitting me a nice stretch, catch it right at the ape. Oh, baby. We'd be having a time. And look, and maybe that's how you put butts in seats. Maybe you look up, me and Chipper just been having an afternoon together, and next thing you know, there's a couple thousand fans up there, and they're all chanting. I'm like, look, guys, I can sign autographs later, but we're just having a good time. Little BP right here. So maybe that's it. I don't know. I'll have to talk to the front office and see what they're thinking. And whatever works for them works for me. That's what I'm here. I'm flexible.
All right. Trent, we appreciate it. Our programming is now ended. Thanks for coming on, man. We'll have you on again, but I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, as always, it's a pleasure. Always. I'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, Trent.
Wow. What a show. What an action-packed show. We start off talking about chicken sandwiches, and then we talked about just hurling the pearl around at Truist Park. But, folks, we appreciate it. This show's for you, the fans. For Will, for Ralph, and for myself, Bryce Kuhn, we say so long. Into the night you go. We'll see you on Thursday. Same time, same place. And, Ralph, what should the fans do?
Keep the stick in the ice.